Alright guys, in this tutorial we're going to cover the perspective crop tool, and it's going to be this one right over here. It's going to be underneath where we found our magic wand and quick selection tools. So if you click and hold, you'll probably see this crop tool. It's probably the first icon that shows up, but the second one will be the perspective crop tool. And you'll see it's kind of this off-kilter gridded shape. And what this does is it will shift your image, and you're basically using this to recreate, or sorry, not recreate, but correct a image that's maybe not quite the way you want it in the third dimension. So you can see her face, how her left eye and the left side of her face is maybe tilted just a fraction towards the camera, and where the right side of her face is just a little further back. And so if we wanted to correct that, this would be a great tool to use. If you're familiar at all with perspective warp or some of the transform tools, then you'll probably recognize what this tool is going to do. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So this is going to be where you save your presets for this. Here will be your width and height. We're going to go ahead and clear those right now. And of course your resolution. So let's draw our first box. And here we go. And there we go. It's up there. And we have our grid shown, so you can make sure that everything's in the right composition and proportion that you want. Maybe just a little bit more this way. And you can turn that on and off as you so desire if you don't like it or if you do. These two buttons over here are basically your clear, which clear for the crop selection, and the go ahead for the crop selection. So if we were to hit this check mark right now, it would automatically crop this image. Now, right now, the way we've done this crop, the only thing it's doing is changing the perspective, and it's going to make our selection here fit into the original image size, which is not what we want, because we're never going to be able to make this exactly proportionate. So what we're going to want to do is play with these pixels in inch or pixels in centimeters for a resolution. Go ahead and type in 300 there to get the maximum. And we're going to go over here and play with this a little bit. And I'm going to just show you what this does here. If I were to warp this image this way and get this perspective of her face. So I'm going to go ahead and hit go ahead. And you see what it did? It took the furthest point and it made it as close as it could. It's kind of funny looking. It does not look good with a big lip like that. And the top, which is the furthest point away, was kept the most in perspective. So if we go ahead and Command Z, we'll go back to the original. See, she doesn't look like that. And let's say we are able to just do a normal square selection and commit to it. So really not that bad. It hasn't ruined our image. It's just cropped it just like it normally would with our crop tool like we were doing before. So if we Command Z and go back, I kind of want to get something in perspective here for you. So we can actually do this, where we draw our perspective. You see how that happened? And then we can rotate our perspective. You see how the 3-dimension is really showing up now? Okay, so let's say we wanted this as our perspective, and we drag this over, and let's go ahead with this selection. It's taking some time thinking. And I have a fast computer too. So you see it really warped her face. Not at all the way that I wanted it to. So be careful with this tool. I'm going to go ahead and go back. And this is a nifty button. We're going to move on to this front image. This is basically taking this image and saying, what's the size? You see how it plugged in my size? So it's 1347 by 898, and if we go to image size, we can see it's in the same correlation of these two as well. So if I go ahead and I take this and I change this to centimeters, let's just do 120. Oh, I hit the wrong number there. Okay. And I hit commit, Not too bad, right? It's just a normal crop. But if I were to come in here and draw over her eyes and give it a tilt, I just want to get you familiar with this. And that looks about right. See how it's giving me this guideline here about what my angle should be on this line? And then I can hit commit. You'll see that it'll shift my perspective. So if you're messing with architectural photography and you got a fisheye lens, this may be a good way to correct your image. And of course, you always have the option to come up here and put in your own spacing here. So if I wanted this at 900 and I wanted my height shift to be at 820, or maybe I wanted to flip-flop the two, you say you can flip-flop them, I can go ahead and commit to that. And there you go. There's my final image width and height that I want it to fit in, which is my 820 by 900. So just remember, your final image height is going to be determined by this. And if you want it to be based on the original image, you're just going to hit front image, and it will automatically transform it to that. So just as a key reminder, if I make my selection this big, and I want it to be 500 by 500 pixel, or 400 by 400 in my final image, I type in 400 by 400 and hit yes, and there we go. It's 400 by 400, and my perspective has been fit now into that size. And that's pretty much it for the perspective crop tool.